Brother, I cannot even lie to you right now. My legs are on fire. Like my legs have never been this sore my entire life.
And it doesn't help having to climb stairs every day.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Third floor.
I'm sitting here, I'm like taking a break every like floor.
And it's funny. So this was basically we're on day 18. It's like our third or fourth leg day. Mm-hmm. This was for sure the worst one yet.
I mean, we got to start going hard.
Oh yeah.
You can only have a warm-up period for so long.
See, that's how you get to the point of not being as sore anymore. At least, that's what I've heard.
I mean, if you just keep going, your soreness just goes away.
Do you think, do you believe in the BCAA thing? Like those,
BCAAs?
Yeah, what is that?
Amino acids.
Yeah, amino acids.
Yeah, they're good for you. I mean,
should we get on those?
Probably should. And creatine. Creatine's good for you. That's like the most studied supplement is creatine.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought creatine was kind of like not everyone should be on creatine.
No, I mean, if you're any sort of athlete, I think creatine's good for you.
Really?
Yeah, as long as you drink your water and do what you got to do.
That's right. You have to drink a ton of water when you're on it.
For sure, yeah.
Do you do the protein shake thing or any of that?
Right now, no, honestly. Because I started getting, before we started working out, I was like the heaviest I've ever been. So I don't really need to like put on weight. I'm just trying to
You want to drop it on here?
Yeah, I want to. My weight?
Yeah.
It was like 185.
Oh, see, I was thinking you were a little heavier than that, honestly.
Nah, but I mean, me being at 185 in high school, junior year, I was 129 pounds. Like I was tiny. So me being 185, like I feel huge.
Dude, you carry it well though. That's the thing is like I've known you since you were, not super skinny, but like when we really started being friends, you were pretty.
Yeah,
we were both
small.
lean. We were both real lean, and so, I mean, to be honest, bro, I mean, you carried it well. Like you put on a lot of weight, but it was all muscle for the most part. So when you
notice,
I didn't
I ain't been taking my shirt off. That's
I mean, it's been winter too. We haven't surfed like in forever because of our wetsuits and stuff. Yeah. So, dude, I mean, honestly,
you know what's crazy? Since we've been going to the gym and like talking about the gym, my TikTok has been all like gym stuff. And this guy that I've seen, have you heard of Sam Sulik?
No.
You've had to seen him. Sam Sulik. He's a younger guy.
He's huge. Yeah, he's got long hair.
Yeah.
I saw something about him on TikTok, and I went down the little rabbit hole for a minute, but I couldn't figure it out. People were saying like a ton of crazy shit about him.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't really I don't think he has a lot of haters, but he has a lot of people that are like scared for him because he's pumping a lot of shit in him, like testosterone, all the steroids, like.
Oh, really?
A lot of it. And he eats junk food and he trains real heavy. Like, I mean, do your thing, dude, but like, you still got to be careful doing that shit. So people are like worried for him, but he doesn't really have haters.
I mean, his physique is insane.
Yeah, the dude's massive, and I think he's only like 24.
Really?
He's young, yeah.
And so is there any like safe way to do steroids or anything like that, or like the testosterone?
Do it with a doctor, because there's doctors that will do all your blood tests and make sure that you're safe. And then, I mean, there's certain steroids that you really shouldn't take, like Tren, I think. I mean, obviously don't listen to me, but Tren is like pretty heavy on your body and it hurts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously all those steroids, it's going to do something to your body that's not natural. So
you went through a phase where you were like super heavy into like lifting weights and everything like that. Did you ever kind of consider doing the whole steroid route?
I mean,
it's got to be a thought, bro. Just because you see guys like
you're just
like
around
Sam.
it. Like I was in the gym all the time, and there's big guys in there, and you're around it. But I don't know. I don't really like messing with my hormones like that. So
yeah,
I just keep it natural.
I'm actually getting a phone call real quick. I think this is from the guest. Let's see if he's here.
Okay, bet.
What up, big dog?
What's up, man? I think I'm in the complex. I'm trying to find the building.
All right, bet. We're going to come down and get you right now.
All right.
All right, brother. Peace. All right, that's the man himself. Y'all got a little teaser. This is episode 81, man. Let's go get our guest. I'm super excited for this episode, man. This dude, he's already been on the OG Sessions podcast before, but he was definitely a fan favorite for his first time around. He's got so many cool stories. Legendary individual, man. So episode 81 starts right now.
Let's go.
Yo, what is up, OGs? Episode 81 going down right now with the man himself, Joey Allen. How you feeling, brother?
What's up?
Today's guest is fan favorite from season 1, for sure. He is the creator of Work for Avocados. He is a surf photographer, and he's my good friend, the man himself, Michael Regan. How you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. I'm happy to be back. Loving the new studio.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
I will say, our conversation had some really cool moments. Like looking back on it, and that was such early days for the podcast. So I appreciate you coming back on, man.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to see things evolve, and I know we've kind of continued our paths, but it's kind of cool to see it how it's kind of adapted and thrived in different situations and environments. So
I appreciate that. I like your new look, by the way.
Yeah, cut it all off. I had hair down to my waist.
How long did it take for you to grow that out?
5 years, man. I think at least. I think it was about 5 years.
That's really not as long as I thought it would be for how long it was.
It was really long.
It grows really quick. Like I just cut this like a week ago, and I'm already like, man, I'm ready for another one already.
How hard was it to come to terms and like make that decision? Like, all right, it's time to cut it off.
Well, I've grown it out in the past, and like I cut it off before when I was like probably about shoulder length. And the first time I was like, oh man, like you have like an identity crisis when it's happening because you're like, oh, I'm known as this guy and whatnot. And I was kind of considering it like the second time also. And then I was like, you know what? Just the benefits of cutting it outweigh like the few things that I enjoy about it.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, just living in Florida, bro, it's like, it's brutal.
It's so hot.
Mid-summertime, having the long hair is like the worst thing ever.
Dude, when we moved into our new place, so we moved into a place on the island, and literally the first month our AC didn't work. And this was in June.
Oh my gosh.
And dude, it was 80 degrees in the house, and we had a dehumidifier that we had to run, empty it 6 times a day. Our house was at 90% humidity, 80 degrees
That's
in
a
July.
sauna.
That's what I had to move in the middle of the day, and I specifically remember because we had like a swell that week, and I was like filming like from 6 a.m. to like 10 a.m., and then I was moving between like 11 to 5.
Dude,
the heat by myself.
That's rough.
Dude, fuck that. And I feel like, having the long hair is kind of a staple piece. It was for you for sure. Like, I was like, I only knew you with the long hair, But I think that like it's a lot cleaner too whenever people can get it cut and also pull off the short hair as well, man. So
I mean, I'm thankful for it. Yeah. If it was any shorter, I got a weird skull, so I don't think I would have gotten away with it otherwise. But I think this is a good length. But yeah, I had some people from the channel hit me up and be like, "I only follow you because of your long hair." I'm like, "All right, well, I don't really know what to tell you, bro."
Follow me then.
Yeah, like I'm sorry.
Was it any Rob Machado inspo with that?
No, I was just ready, man.
Yeah.
I was just done with it. Like especially like starting to do like the filming a lot more. I'm trying to get into like more like client photography and things like that.
Just get a more professional
More
look.
professional and just out in the water, man. So I got a new wetsuit this year, and it was a gift from someone, and it had a hood with it, which was great. But I had so much hair that I couldn't even get the hood over my head.
Oh, that's funny.
And not that I needed it that much, but it had a little brim. And I was like, well, that'd be cool to use.
Yeah.
And whenever I put the wetsuit on, I would just be like suffocating with my hair.
Yeah.
Like the first month, I was like calling for my girlfriend. I'm like, help, help.
Do you like wearing wetsuits during the winter? Like, do you prefer wetsuits over just summer surfing?
Man, I hate the process of it, but I feel like in my older years now, like I enjoy it more now.
I like the extra cushion it gives you. I like wearing wetsuits.
Yeah, when it's sunny out, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I'm someone who gets cold really easily, so like my new wetsuit, it's like a 4 or 5, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Like if I go to the springs in the middle of the summertime, I'm wearing a jacket top. Like no lie, like I literally bring a jacket top with me to the springs, and
That's
in
pretty
July.
smart. I would.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of the same way. Like I
Yeah.
get cold super easy, and for me, like I hate surfing when it's freezing cold. I'm kind of the opposite with Joey on that one. Like I'm not a huge wetsuit guy. Like Joey knows this shit, bro. Like the waves have to be pumping for me to get in my wetsuit because I don't like the restriction. Like you feel like you're kind of restricted. Like I like falling in it because then you feel like there is that padding. You almost like don't even feel the water whenever you're hitting the water. But
I feel like more of an athlete when I'm in there. Like it's all like tight. I don't know. I feel like I surf better.
I'm
with the
ready to
wetsuit
go
on.
on air, more water dynamic and whatnot. Yeah.
I just feel like there's certain turns that like I feel like I'm a little more stiff when I'm out there, and also it's freezing cold too. So, bro, once you start getting that like that little bit of like a water drip in the back of the
that's
wetsuit,
so
bro,
when you fall.
it's like ice cold water just slowly going down your back. I'm like, dude, that I hate that shit, man.
Yeah, I've gotten a bit more now. I'm getting tumbled out in the water filming.
Oh,
I will say I am a little biased in the sense now that I'm not paddling as much with my shoulders, so I don't really feel like that restriction in my shoulders. So I guess it's not as bad in my legs, so I don't notice it as much. But
I want to get into that, man. So you've been doing a lot of surf photography recently.
Yeah.
How did you kind of find your love for this?
Well, it's funny because, I'm sure we'll tie into this also later, but my dad was a big surf photographer, and he did a lot of filming like around town. And I think we mentioned it in our last conversation, but I never intended to surf, and I definitely didn't intend to do surf photography after that. Like it became a thing like after he like passed away, that I was like, all right, I'm going to start surfing. And I surfed for probably like 10 years before I really picked up a camera. But for 4 or 5 years, I was trying to get work for Avocados off the ground, which is like my YouTube channel, surfing, skating, being stoked on the small stuff. And I have all this equipment, and I keep trying to get more equipment so my girlfriend could hopefully film me a little bit more. And, you know, bless her heart, she does when she can, which I'm grateful for. But I'm just sitting around, and I'm like, man, I have all this equipment. And one day last year, it was actually this contest. I didn't even intend to wear it for that reason. But it was the Summer Slam Log Jam. And it was just like this 2-foot day where, you know, people just go out on the longboards. It's a super casual contest. And I was like, you know what? I have all the equipment with me. I got my drone. I got my GoPro. Bombed my heat. And just did not do very well at all. But for the next heat, I went out with my GoPro. I was like, oh, I might as well get some shots. And it kind of just tumbled into doing that more and more often. Like, I got some really cool shots of like the guy who won. I thought they were cool at the time. Looking back now, I'm like, dude, this is not a good photo. It's just funny to see.
It's gotta be tough on the GoPro too, man. It's like I mean, you know, we use the GoPro for a lot of our on the road episodes and stuff, and I think it'd be a pain in the ass sometimes because it's such a small like little unit, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, trying to get. I would always do like shutter or something if I was going to do like some kind of surf photography or any kind of photography with the GoPro, to be honest, just because when you hit the button, I feel like that's not the actual photo that you're going to get. Like, there's a little bit of a delay, but there's also, you know, you got the, like, all the problems that come with being an all around like action camera and things like that. But,
the wide angle, especially, that was like the biggest thing. Like, as I started switching, because with the wide angle, for like people who aren't too familiar with like how the lenses work, with a wide angle, it's like from me to you, like this 5-foot distance is like ideal. Anything like outside of that, like, you're not going to get.
It's going to be tiny.
Yeah.
Like, you know, anything like off in the distance. That's one thing that we notice as well is you take the GoPro and you're trying to shoot a video of something. If Joey's not like super close to me or whatever, he's not going to be in that shot.
It looks like I don't even want to be there.
Yeah. Like, I guess he's in the background.
Right.
Like, especially things like far in the background. Like, it just doesn't. So I was doing that for a while, and I think I did that for like 2 months. And like, I wound up linking up with the guy who I was doing shots with, like the guy who won. Him and his friend. I was like, hey man, like, if you guys hit me up, like, I'll come shoot you for free. And I did that for like 2 months, and I was like over the GoPro at that point. I was like, dude, I can only do so much with this wide angle. So I found that they have a water housing for an iPhone. So I bought that. It was like $200, and it came with like a little pistol grip. And
that's cool.
It gave me so much more, like, because I was like, oh, I can zoom in. Like, I couldn't really change the shutter speed or do anything like that yet.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right. Like, I can kind of compose this shot. I can see what I'm doing. I kind of have a little bit more control over it. And then I think I had that for like 3 weeks. I was like, oh no, this is definitely like what I want to do. Like,
yeah.
And I saved up to get the plunge for the real housing.
Was there any kind of like fear when you first had to go out there in the water and tread water for like hours at a time, or like what when you first got into it, how long were you out there treading water for? Because I know for me, bro, it's going to be like once I hit that 20-minute mark, I'm pretty much tapped out for sure.
I think at first I was doing like 30 minutes to like maybe an hour, but it was also kind of like you could like touch the sand. Like, it wasn't like super deep water. There was one day specifically I remember we were a little bit further south, and I was out there for like 2 hours. And there was not one time that like I was able to like touch the sand.
Did you have flippers on?
Yeah, flippers on. I had the fins on, and I was just like treading water for literally like 2 hours.
Dude, that's crazy.
I bet you're so tired. You probably sleep good after that.
I had to go to work after that.
Oh no.
Waiting tables, and I remember just coming in at 4, and it was just such a good day of waves, and I'm just like dragging. Like, normally I'll come in and I'll have kind of like that surfer's high where I'm like good for like a couple hours. And then you crash. I came in crashing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like leaned over the counter, just like. Oh.
Have you ever called out for the waves?
No, not yet.
Really?
Not yet.
I wish I could.
I can't say that because I've definitely done that.
I'm bad about that.
I've been very thankful that somehow, I'd say like 98% of swells I've managed to like be off for,
really?
Or like see that something was coming in the horizon and like switch it off.
True. I
think there was like maybe one time I called up. I was like, hey, do you guys need me? I was like, I'd really rather be out there. And they're like, I guess not. But I tell all my bosses, I'm like, there's going to be a day. I don't know when it's going to be. I was like, but there will be a day where I'm not going to come in.
Yeah.
That's so funny because I say that to I've said that those exact words. I'm like, if there are waves and it's 8 feet and clean, I'm not going to be here. I just want you to know that. And I will let you know, but I will not be here on that day.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, man, I'm always just a super honest dude. For some reason, like whenever the waves just get super big, I just get a cough, and like I start to get really, like, I would never lie to my boss.
Sea salt in the air,
It's dude, something, bro. Like once those waves start, especially like when I used to live a little bit closer to the beach and stuff, man, it's like.
Start throwing up the night before.
I don't know what happens,
fever,
man. Yeah, like up all night, temperature's high, it's just, it sucks, dude. I don't know what happens.
Gotta call work, be like, not coming in, I'm sick.
Well, that's kind of the unfortunate thing, too, about doing the kind of more like publicized like surf content, because they're going to look on my Instagram and be like,
yeah.
All right, well, you just posted today, epic day away. Just like,
with the date tag.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be careful if you got like people that you work with following you on Instagram when you're doing that, because, I know for me, like the jobs I'm working like right now, I probably wouldn't. The waves would have to be firing, like craziest waves we've seen for me to call out. But, dude, back at some of my other jobs in the past, bro, it's like
I'd call out just
3 foot and fair. I'm not going in, bro. Like
kind of green.
Yeah. Like if Surfline's got any green for the day, bro, then for a fact I'm out there. So
it's just poor instead of very poor.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a great day for us.
It is.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate that I try to work nights. So usually, like, I feel like around in Florida, 90% of the time the mornings are better anyway.
Oh, for sure.
But it's funny now because as I'm getting more into the photography, the nighttime is the better lighting to shoot, which doesn't really. Yeah.
Because the sun's behind you.
Exactly. Yeah, like going out early in the morning, it's like you're always going to get like a silhouette. You're never really going to get.
Oh, true. That makes sense. I see.
Which is kind of interesting because you compare like surf photography on East Coast to like West Coast, it's like opposite.
Oh, dude, that would actually be really interesting. Have you ever thought about maybe going out to California and doing like some photography out there? Because you think about it, bro, it's like you do see a lot of those like morning videos and stuff in California where it's like lower tressels and stuff like that, and
it's just
like,
beautiful lighting and whatnot, gold, and it's like
don't they have more sharks over there?
So that's the balancing act, like it's like we have more shark bites. They have more and bigger sharks.
True.
Which,
is that ever a factor for you? Like when you're out there, bro, just treading water, are you thinking about that at any point?
Only when I lay in bed at night.
I guess that's the time to think about it.
I mean, even when I'm out there just like paddling around on my board, if I see a splash next to me, it could be any kind of fish or a sea turtle or anything, bro, and I'm immediately thinking shark.
Yeah.
And you see the guys, like, for me, I could never be one of those guys that go out there. We actually had a guy on the pod, and he swims out in the ocean, and he'll do like laps from like the pier to, like down in AB or something like that.
Yeah.
The Jack's Beach Pier, not the St. Augustine one, but same concept.
Yeah.
And, they're out there swimming so deep. And it's like the same thing with the surf photographer guys, like with what you're doing, bro. It's like you're out there just treading water, like right in the break.
Yeah.
And I mean, total hotspot for sea life and things like that. And I'm not trying to put fear.
Don't talk him out of his career.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to put any fear. But
people tell me a lot of stories, and I'm out there like, I don't want to scare you, but
I mean, I've definitely like almost, I'd say like 60 to 70% of the time we see fins out there
for sure.
Yeah,
like there's always
absolutely.
But when you're there, that's never a thought process for you.
I don't see them as much as I do when I did surfing, although I know they're definitely there. And like where I live now, I live like 2 blocks from the pier. The only time I had like kind of got scared, I was out Hurricane Lee earlier this year, and I was like a little bit north of the pier. I was like towards the park area, and I was like swimming out there. It's when I had the iPhone housing, and someone like paddled up. They're like, someone just got bit in Volano this morning, and I was like,
thank you. Way to ruin my day.
Yeah, it's just like big and perfect. I'm like, and I kind of got a little spooked then because something kind of bumped into me, but. I mean, I worry about it, but never like in the moment. Like
you know what I did? Little hack. Shark tooth tattoo.
There you go.
So they see this and they're
sign
like,
of respect.
Oh, he's cool. Like he's one of us. I haven't been bit yet.
It's either a sign of respect or a sign of fear, however they want to take.
So far, it's been good.
Yeah, it's like I look into like the anti-shark things. It's like I don't really think our technology is like quite there yet. I'm like I just gotta last like
the magnets and stuff.
Yeah, I'm like I just hope I last like 10 years out where like we figure something out like down the line, and in 10 years we're kind of like, hey, remember we all used to just get bit by sharks? Remember that time in humanity? But yeah, I mean, some moments I definitely think about it, but never like while I'm out there doing it.
You're very one with nature out there, bro. Like when you're just out there just treading water for hours at a time, and it's I could see how if you're at water level, it's more difficult for you to see like anything that's kind of swimming down there with you, if that makes sense. Like when you're at the water level, but if you're on a longboard, you're a little bit like your head's a little bit higher above the actual like, you know, you can see deeper.
You can look down.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain unless you've actually been out there in the ocean. But it's like whenever you're paddling, you can't really tell. Like if you see a shark, it's because their fins above the water. You're not gonna be able to see a shark really swimming below you. But then when you're sitting up on your board, that's when you can really notice.
You see the
the shadows and things like that. Have you ever had any like encounters with sharks or anything? Or
yeah, I had one in Nicaragua that like still scares me to like this day. I was like out by a river mouth when I was living down there, and I wasn't filming, but I was just surfing, and I was like on a shortboard just by myself. I remember thinking it was a day like today. It was beautiful, blue skies out, crystal clear water, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, it is so nice out. Like I can see everything. And dude, I swear on my life, like I looked down and a 5-foot bull shark is 2 feet underneath me.
No way.
I see the whole thing. I see it in 4K. Not one part of it is murky, and he's just underneath me, and he is just cruising.
And bull sharks are mean.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know that.
Yeah, and I'm by a river mouth, which I shouldn't have been, but you know, it was a good wave down there, and I'm sitting out facing the shoreline, and he's swimming towards the shoreline.
dude, forget that.
And I'm just like, well, what do I do?
Did you freeze? I would have froze.
Bro, I just felt every bit of blood in my body. Just like, I just felt myself going white, and I'm like, do I swim towards the shore? Like, what do I do? And
yeah, forget that. And especially in places like Nicaragua, it's like, dude, who knows how long it's going to be for, if you were to get bit like really bad out there, bro, who knows how long it's going to be before you get treatment.
Dude, so I was working at a sea turtle rescue, doing like event coordination and like sea turtle like restoration. And to get to where we were, you had to take a bus to like the launch, and you had to take a ferry, like a little boat to get to the island. And then once you were on the island, you basically had to walk either 3 miles or you had to take like a horse cart to get to the hostel.
Oh my God.
Like when we worked there, it was like also like a bar party kind of hostel, and we would get ice in, and we would literally have it in these like saran wrap bags, just these big blocks of ice, because the electricity was on a generator, so we didn't even make ice. And I remember as a bartender, I just had like a mallet hammer and this like super sketchy like knife, and you would just have to like chisel like the ice down, and you're just pouring like big blocks of ice in people's drinks.
That's so crazy. Funny.
Dude, it was bad. So I was out there. So like if something happened, like it was going to be a while until something. I got dengue one time, like basically a variation of dengue, and like the process to like get from that hostel to the hospital was
what's dengue?
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, it's a mosquito virus.
Oh.
And dude, it is terrible. It like basically like your muscles feel like paralyzed. Like you just have like the worst, like fever, temperature. Like it just is terrible.
What was the hospital like in Nicaragua?
Some of them are really nice. That one, the one I went to, was not one of the nice ones. It was like it was like one of the public ones that was like built in like the 70s, and they have not updated it since then. It was like lime green, like pale and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm basically like passing out in the hospital because I had to like bring myself there. I couldn't have anyone come to get me. I was supposed to like open that morning at the hostel, and I'm like, yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And
I'm dying.
And the nurse is like laughing at me that I have like dengue basically. And I'm like, they had to like help me like basically get back to like my seat, and I had to stay at another hostel, and I laid in bed for 3 days. And it was the only time in my life that I didn't eat for 2 days.
Bro, what?
Because it just makes you feel so tired. Like, you know, you raise your hand, you don't think anything of it. When you have that, your muscles feel so paralyzed and like sore and tired that you literally have to be like, all right, raise your arm.
Is it like a deadly virus? And it could have gotten like really bad.
I think if I was like had a compromised like immune system or older, but most people are fine with it afterwards. But it takes a while to heal. Like you feel better after 4 or 5 days, but it can take like months to like.
Do you have any side effects? Like, is there anything that lasted?
Nothing that lasted. No. But it's kind of like, remember the Zika thing?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Zika. So it's actually called chikungunya. So it's like dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. They're all like mosquito viruses.
Are these really common in Nicaragua? Like, is there a lot of people that are kind of getting these?
Yeah, I think that's why like the nurses were like, "You'll be fine."
Yeah.
But like, dude, in the moment, you're like, "I've never experienced anything like this." Like, Yeah, it was crazy.
That's crazy. They were laughing at you.
Yeah, it was.
It's interesting that you hear like in a country like that, we have mosquitoes here, and we have really no problems. Did it seem like there was a influx of mosquitoes there, like a lot more than you would have here?
No, I felt like there were more in Florida, and
really?
And really, like I don't ever get bit by mosquitoes in Florida.
Yeah,
like,
I almost never get. I mean, knock on wood, but I almost never.
I always get tore up. By
mosquitoes. My girlfriend gets destroyed by them. I'll be in like the same area, and she's like, "You're not dying." I'm like, no, I'm fine.
Because we got sweet blood. That's what it is. Y'all got that.
That one mosquito had it out for me though. He's like, I'm getting this bastard.
You're gonna infect this guy.
Yeah, dude. That was probably one of like the top 3 worst moments, like traveling wise. It was crazy.
What are the other 2?
Because you've traveled all over the place, bro. Like you've done. You've been to PR multiple times.
Yeah,
right?
I've done PR a bunch. I backpacked and lived from like Mexico down to Colombia.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's crazy.
Colombia was terrifying. No, Colombia was one of the nicest places I've ever been. I had one bad experience where like at the time when I was smoking, I like had a roach like in my bag. If you want to cut this out, you can or whatever. But
no, keep it.
I had a roach in my backpack, and I was at the hostel, and it was like a common thing. Like we all just smoked on the rooftop, and we had a day trip lined up the next day. And I was like, oh man, this would be so nice to like bring, because it's this giant rock. I got to show it to you because like it's just this giant space-looking rock out in like the middle of like a beautiful area. But dude, it's like 500 feet tall. It's just one like. Remember the episode of SpongeBob where they're like with like the pioneers and he's like delivering the pizza? Imagine that, but imagine it like 10 times higher with like 40 steps of stairs. And it's like overlooking this like beautiful dam. I was like, oh, I'm totally going to smoke on top of that.
Yeah.
Last minute before we leave, I'm like, nah, it's not a good idea. So I take it out, and then I get on the bus. I pass out on the bus. We get stopped by Colombian paramilitary. And like literally, or like I'm like sleeping, and like I wake up, and like I just see these dudes in like giant dudes in like camouflage with like fucking machine guns and shit.
Oh gosh!
Big ass German Shepherd comes on board, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't bring that.
Dude,
dog just stops in front of me and just starts going off
because you smelled it.
And I'm like half awake, and I'm just like, they're like, vamos. I'm like, oh shit! So they take me off the bus. And they're like going through my bag, and they're like asking like if I have anything. I'm like, no, I don't have anything. Then they're asking if I did smoke anything or I did have anything, and I just like pretended like I knew very little Spanish, and I was like, no tengo, like I don't have anything. And this proceeded for like 5 minutes. They like empty out my bag, and then finally, dude, I'm looking up at this guy. This guy's like 6'4". Like every time I tell the story, I'm sure he gets a little bit taller. Yeah, but he's like 6'4", like just 250, just like. Big dude, like big ass dogs, and I'm just like, nope.
That is so funny, bro.
And then they put me back on the bus, and like everyone on the bus was like watching, like, oh, we're gonna watch this gringo get arrested. Yeah. And then I get back on, and they're like, he's coming back on.
Yeah, good thing you threw it away.
Yeah, that is sketchy,
dude. Sure. I learned my lesson on that. I was like, yeah, no more of this. I think that was number 2. And then number 1, I guess this is the top 3. Number 1, I've done like a bunch of like water rescues out in Nica, because like where I have my property, it's like this really bad rip current, and the waves get really heavy, and all the locals come out on Sundays and they party, but a lot of them don't know how to swim, and they'll be like knee deep, and all of a sudden they're like half mile out.
Damn.
Yeah. So I've had to like do a bunch of like rescues that like. I've had probably 7 or 8 rescues, like no lie. Like 4 of them were like super serious, where like they would not have made it. This one has a happy ending, but one time I was out there, and this guy and his daughter were like swept away, and I was working the bar, and someone comes running up, and they're like, "Help! Help!" Or like I grab my longboard. It's like a 9.2 Stewart. I paddle out. It's probably like 6-7 feet that day, just like nonstop, relentless, like 14 seconds.
Damn.
Kind of thing.
God, bro.
They're getting sucked out. I can barely see them. I paddle. It's like this guy and his like 7-year-old daughter. And I make it out to them, and I get them on the board, and we're trying to paddle. We make it a little bit. All of a sudden, this freak set comes in, just detonates on top of us. They both go flying separate directions. I got my longboard, so I have my leash on, and it's still on. And I just see them like diverging, basically. Like he's going out, she's going out. I'm like, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I know what I have to do, but that's not a decision I thought I was going to have to make today.
Yeah.
So like I grab her, she's like screaming in my ear, she's like, Daddy, Daddy. And I just see him like drifting away and like going down. And I'm just like
Going down
and out. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on right now, dude? And I'm just like paddling, trying to get her in. She's screaming. And the craziest thing ever happened, because this is a super remote area, kind of like the last area with the sea turtle. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, I've never seen them in the 3 years that I've lived there, other than this day. The Nicaraguan lifeguards happened to be training on the beach that day. And they went out and grabbed that guy.
Dude,
that's crazy.
Is a blessing.
Never, dude, I'm still kind of haunted by it, because like what could have happened.
Yeah.
But like I've never seen them again.
That is
never
cool,
before,
dude.
Never after that day. Funny story though is that when they ran the story, that was funny because they had like the mayor of the town was like with binoculars and his team like on top of the rooftop watching this. They ran a story that they saved me.
Oh no!
Yeah,
dude, that is so funny.
That's terrible.
They're like, we saved.
That is hilarious.
Saved this guy and his daughter and this gringo who was out there.
Oh no,
dude, that is so funny.
Yeah, I'm almost like, oh, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
that's gringo.
That would be. It'd be like probably a very rewarding job, like being out there saving people like that. But it'd also probably be so stressful, man. It's like you guys don't even speak the same language. Like you're out there, like obviously they're gonna trust you because they're in a dire situation.
Oh, dude, not always though. Like another time we had there was this big guy who got sucked out, and he was like, I wasn't gonna get him in. Like I might try to get him on the board, but he's easily like over like close to 300 pounds.
Holy crap!
And like I'm trying to get him on the
How's
board.
he floating?
I don't know.
Probably wasn't. I mean, he's drowning.
I think his own buoyancy was keeping him afloat, but he was not. And like I got him on the board, and he was way too big for this board. It's a 9.2.
Yeah. And
we're paddling, and he's just like, I think he's trying to say, oh shit, but all he keeps saying is, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to save your ass right now. And like, he just keeps saying that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to pretend like this is like a language barrier. We're like half a mile out. Same thing. It was like 6 to 7 feet. Like this spot's just like raging. And we're trying to paddle. And I'm just like, dude, I have to paddle behind him.
Yeah.
I'm like on the tail of the board trying to like paddle around because he's not paddling, and I'm basically just like have my like face in this guy's ass.
Yeah.
And he's just saying like fuck you. I'm like,
he's
no,
saying fuck you.
Yeah, he's saying fuck me. And I was like, bro. And I had to like get off the board and I like look at him. I was like, if you don't paddle, I will let you drown like right now. Like I will not like let us both die. I was like, I will let you die right here. And like we got him to the shore and just like, dude, it's it's in the moment like. You know, I don't judge them because, like, if you're in, like, a panic, like, life situation, like, I mean, you guys were lifeguards, like, you get it. When that happens, like, people are going to, like, crawl on and they're going to
They're freaking out.
They're going to self-preserve. Sure. Like, all you can really do is, like, duck deeper, go under the water and, like, try to break free and then go from there. So I'm thankful that I never lost anyone out there, but I guess that kind of whole thing kind of stems into the water photography because I've had situations like that. I've broken a different longboard where I was like half a mile out, like in half, and I'm out there, and just situations like that. I was like, dude, I don't want to drown out here. So like I would start swimming more and more, which kind of, I guess, eventually led into the surf photography because that was my biggest fear. I was like, I don't ever want to lose anyone. Like I lifeguarded in Volano, but not like for the county. It was like for the pool.
Yeah.
So like I've seen more action than I probably should have for like a pool lifeguard. But
are you always on guard when you're out there taking pictures? Like, is that something that's always on your mind too?
Since I've started doing photos, I haven't really like I haven't experienced anything like that. And honestly, like I don't really know like what much I could do because I don't have a board.
True. Yeah.
You know, I could paddle in real quickly and call for someone. I could take a picture so we can keep a lookout for them. I really haven't had any since I've started doing photos.
That's good.
Like a lot of it is usually like out west over there because it's just like such like a isolated area. Funny story though is like this guy I worked with who I hired, his name's Donald. He wound up buying property like in the same area. He's like this younger Australian dude. He calls me up one day. He's like, Mike. He's like, you'll never. Why? He's like, you know how we always got to do rescues? I'm like, yeah. He's like, bro, I was on acid the other day. And I was just sitting at the rancho and I had to do a rescue. I'm like, bro, that is insane. Like, I can't imagine that, like, super stressed out scenario. I was like, and being on acid on top of that. Like, bro, are you okay? Are you okay?
Do you want to talk about this?
Dude, imagine like you're out there drowning and you see your lifeguard pull up and he's on acid. You can just see it in his eyes. Like, yeah, this boy's not ready, bro. Like,
His eyes are like, He's like, get on the board. Get on the board.
I was like, dude,
you want to go
crazy.
fast?
I'm on the board. No, you're not. We're not even on a board.
Dude, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like, certain experiences out there, like you would never get those same experiences if you were in the U.S., man. It's just like the little bit of a different culture and things out there.
Oh, dude, yeah. So I managed a surf hostel out there, and like, luckily, I was going to go to school for international business, and like this place I used to work at was before I managed it. The dude had messaged me on Instagram. I think we talked about this before, but when I worked for him, it was my second time back, and I broke his longboard. That was the one I was like way out there for, and I lost his phone within like 4 days of being there. And I was just like, basically my trip was over instantly. Like, I paid for it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the right thing, paid for it. But we wound up becoming super tight like afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
So once he found out I was going to school for international business, he's like, dude, just come manage my place. And he's like, I trust you. He's like, you do the right thing. So that's kind of how that all wound up coming into fruition, working out there.
Yeah, it's cool, man, because, a lot of people wouldn't be able to experience surfing those waves. Like, if we're being honest, you're so limited with what you get here on the East Coast. If a storm does
If
come
you're in
through,
New Jersey last week,
dude, that was insane, bro. That was insane.
a man falling from the sky.
And even there was what was the one? I think I want to say it was like Miami-Dade or something a few weeks ago, or like a few days ago, or something like that.
There were a couple of shots local that were massive.
Yeah, they were going off. They were going off.
Jack's
here a few
even
days
too.
ago.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you more of a St. Augustine surfer when it comes to surf photography and surfing in general?
So for the photography, I've pretty much kept it like in town for the moment. Kind of like the 1 to 2 mile stretch, like where I live. It's not really like super local, like where I'm at in that sense. But like I'm slowly like venturing out. Like I probably wouldn't come to like Jack's Beach, not out of fear, but like I'd probably like want to like go out there. Like if someone who goes there kind of like more frequently, or someone who's been there like a couple times, where they're like, "Oh, what is this guy doing out here?"
Yeah, for sure.
The Jack's Beach Pier their crowd, bro, they're rough.
It's rough.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
insane,
if you're not a
yeah.
local, like if you're not known around there,
Yeah.
you're gonna get surfed around hard.
Yeah, I've heard that a bunch, and like luckily we don't have that. I don't want to say problem, but we don't have that situation like in St. Augustine.
Oh, it's a problem.
Oh, dude, the St.
Yeah.
Augustine Pier is so dope with just how kind everybody is. Like, I've never had a problem with the St. Augustine Pier, I'll be honest. And like Jack's Beach is totally different. Jack's Beach, it's just the energy is off, bro.
We've
And
gotten
it's-
out of the water. Like,
I believe it.
Well, because it's just like, dude, my whole thing is, I'm gonna go out. My goal is just to go out there and just have a good time and get as many waves as possible without like, obviously interfering with other people's time and stuff like that. Y'all mind y'all's business, I'll mind my business. We'll just kind of both surf in this spot, and you get out there, it just turns into like you feel like some of these people are like competing in a contest right now. Or
Everyone's
something.
trying to
Or
be Kelly Slater.
Yeah, or like
Yeah.
like it's just crazy, man. It's like certain guys where they'll just go for waves just because they see you going for the wave or whatever, just like make a statement and things
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, dude, I just don't surf like that. I'm not the type of guy where I'm just gonna bail out of every single wave because you want one too. It's like we got to share the ocean. And
Flagler can be like that also.
really, I've never
Yeah.
surfed out there.
It's a couple of times, and I don't think it's as bad as Jack's, but it kind of like has that like vibe as well. And it's kind of nice being right in the middle between
Yeah.
like Jack's and Flagler, where like our waves never get quite like as good as either of them. Like it's always better north and it's always better south. But
Do you ever surf? Sorry to cut you off. Do you ever surf Anastasia or?
that's where I live. Yeah, I live on. Oh, you mean the park?
Yeah, like there's like that. I've surfed in there a couple times where the campground is.
Yeah.
And that was actually a pretty good break. Like I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the waves were pumping whenever I went, but it was fun. I mean, it was a solid break
Yeah,
for sure.
I've had some really good sessions over there. I don't go there too much. I don't want to say it's like more local over there, but it's a little bit more of like a core group out there.
Cool.
Yeah, I've had good times out there. I usually stick to like the pier down to like Crescent area, people hit me up for sessions. They're like, someone hit me up the other day, like, would you mind coming out to film in New Smyrna? I was like, bro, are you trying to kill me? Like, what is
dude, that's ballsy.
Yeah,
you want
like,
to talk about sharks. Like,
I was like, yeah, I don't mind swimming and like having like an occasional existential crisis. I was like, but you want me to swim out in New Smyrna? He's like, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that.
Isn't that shark bite capital like of the U.S.?
The world.
The world.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you look at the videos, like the drone footage from New Smyrna, bro, it's like all times of the year there's sharks out there, bro.
Oh, yeah.
There's a shit ton of sharks, dude. There's never a time where I think the waves would be good enough to get me to go surf New Smyrna, if we're being honest.
I've only been out there once, and I was like,
I've got no desire to go out
Did
there.
you see a shark when you went out there?
No more than I see like out here
Regularly,
Yeah, I will say about the drone thing though. I have a drone, and I think, no, I haven't. So since I started doing the surf photography, I have not taken a drone out.
Come on.
Well, I'm swimming out there. I don't want to.
How's he going to control it if you think about it?
Yeah, but I mean, you could have sessions and like you get different clips and different angles.
Well, no, so it's not that. It's seeing the actual like what's in the water.
He
like,
doesn't
around
want to
me.
like see.
True.
That's
Okay.
the thing, like,
I
he'd
don't
be
wanna
scared.
know.
You don't want to pull it out.
Yeah, like I know what's out there.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that it's not like it's like, oh, I don't see them. They're not there today. But like, I don't want to like all right.
Are you doing more videos or more pictures when you're out there?
I'm doing more pictures right now. I'm starting to like kind of get into more of the video stuff. The video is a bit harder for sure.
Is it because of the stabilizing? Like when you're out there in the water, I feel like that'd be so difficult, man. Just having to hold up like this, but then also tread the water. Like that'd be.
Yeah.
And the thing is whenever you see the shots, like luckily whenever you're doing, or not like. And anytime you see surf shots in a movie or anything like that, it's always in slow-mo, which helps with the stabilizing. Like, you can be shaking a little bit, but if it's in slow-mo, it's kind of like a slower transition. But if you were to do, like, the normal fast-paced thing, it's like it's constantly shaking and things like that. But I'll tell you what, bro, your pictures are on point. It's
I appreciate that, man.
I mean, do you ever feel like you're with a surf photographer, it's, like, very difficult to do this, I guess. But do you ever feel like you're in the surfer's way whenever you're, like, riding the wave?
In the beginning, a lot more than I was now. Like, I still feel like occasionally I'm like, my bad, dude. And people are like usually like pretty kind about it there. They're like, hey, man, that's all good. But did you get that shot?
Yeah, right.
Did you get that shot? And they're like, yeah, I've learned like what I can get away with a bit more. Like, I don't want to say like, I'm like, oh, I'm flawless now. Like, I'm out of everyone's way.
Yeah.
But I've learned like what lens is going to be for what scenarios. Like, I recently got like a zoom lens. So now I've got a 18 to 135, so like a wide angle, so it's about as wide as like your camera gets.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then it'll zoom to like the equivalent of like an iPhone like times 6.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's not quite as sharp as my other ones, but I have that range, and I got like a knob where I can kind of like be a little bit further back. When I first started, especially with the GoPro, I was in everybody's way.
Oh, dude,
because you have to be so close.
The GoPro, you might as well be right.
You're basically in their face.
Yeah. And I have a lens that's even like more wide than the GoPro, but like that's what I've heard people call like a collaborative lens, because like you're using that when you know, hey, I'm going to go surfing. Do you want to get some barrel shots of you? We've had this conversation like on land, like, I'm going to be working with you because I'm going to be in your way and I'm going to get out at the last second and we're going to get a super cool barrel shot. It's not like some random guy and I'm just like, hey,
You're in the barrel with them.
yeah. So now I can be like a little bit further back.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sorry. Is there any kind of like jealousy whenever you're out there shooting pictures, bro, and you just see the waves going off?
You wish you were on there with those waves.
Do you ever wish you're out there on the board?
Not as much as I would imagine, because it's funny, when I was shooting from the land, because I tried shooting from the land before I started really getting into the water photography, I was like, oh, dude, like, how does anybody like make this decision? Like, I want to be out there. But like when you're out there, you're like, I am out here. Like, you take every wave, whether you want to or not. Like, it's coming at you. And like, I'm in the barrel way more now than I ever was before.
True.
I'm always have like a front row view of some of like the town's best surfing.
True, yeah.
And I think the first time I really missed it was like last night. We were like watching like one of my old vlog episodes that happened to come on. I was doing a collaboration with this other YouTuber, and it was from like the summertime, and there was some clips of me surfing, and I was like, I remember when I used to do that. Like, I was like, man, that looks really fun. It was like 2 feet, but when the hurricane swell comes in, I think I was filming for like 3 or 4 hours in a day, and then I'd hop in and like the last hour, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready.
I got you. Yeah.
But it kind of started where like at first I felt like I was kind of missing it a bit, but seeing like how much it's like been progressing and how much I've personally come to enjoy it, not just from like the statistics and measured success in that sense, but like really trying to get more creative with it, I don't miss it like as much. Like I still would love to get out there, but you know, now I'm in bed and I'm just like, man, I would really love to get a barrel shot like over here. I really want to capture like this landscape over there, because I'd like to imagine that I'm an okay surfer. Like I'm pretty decent in certain senses. Like I can do a cutback, I can do a turn and like whatnot. But
are you throwing airs?
I've never thrown an air.
We're still working on that.
Dude, that's hard, man. I don't get
Yeah, dude, that shit's insane, bro.
Especially
like,
landing one. Like I don't have like the flexibility.
Oh, I wasn't talking about landing.
That's always throwing.
Just hugging it. I mean, I'm in the air. The board's like 10 feet like in front of me. But I just enjoy like the creativity of it a lot more. I don't feel as pressured like when I'm out there. Like if I was out surfing and I was having a bad session, I'd be like, man, I suck. This sucks. I hate everything. And I think that's why like a lot of times surfers like get aggravated, or like I'm not doing like as well as I would like to do. And I'm out in the water filming. I'm like, da, 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 da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I kind of like view it differently. And then I don't hate on myself until I go through the photos later, and I'm like, I suck.
How many photos are you usually getting per session, man? Like, what's the range? Is it like in the thousands?
Yeah, it depends on like how many. And I wouldn't say that like everyone takes this amount, but like I kind of like spray and pray sometimes with like the trigger, they call it.
Yeah.
Like the last one, I was out for about 3 hours. I took 5,000.
Holy crap! And then
That's
you got to
a
go
lot
through
of-
each
yeah.
individual photo.
Yeah.
How long does that take?
Dude.
It's got to be longer than the session.
Oh yeah, easily. And editing them, going through them, and then I had like land shots from the day before. I think in total from like this past swell that we had, I think probably like 7,000 or 8,000. I think I wound up keeping maybe 200.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
And then to like narrow that down to like, all right, what are the top 10? The
like,
top
what are you
5?
posting? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow. I bet you got content for days though, man. Like I see you always posting the surf photography, bro.
I'm trying to. I mean, like after a while, like it's always like the battle is like, do I post one? Do I post them all? Because like the more like the carousel style, if you're posting 10 of them, and it's like, all right, well, if I post these, all those guys are going to share it. The post is going to do better.
Yep.
And then like that kind of like increases the wide range. But then also you're like, hey, I also sell these. Like if you want to buy like a digital copy, or like I do like photo prints lately of like people surfing. So that's been like kind of cool as well.
Yeah, that's been super dope. You've been going to like a lot of markets and things
Yeah.
like that. Is that like a little bit of a, like, what are the struggles with doing that? Because you see, like, obviously, do you like do something with the surfer beforehand where you're like, okay, we're gonna get some shots of like me and you, and it's gonna be like a collaborative effort or something like that, or is it just like, no, you're just out there getting these shots of these dudes out there doing their thing, and then you go and sell them on the side?
So usually when I'm getting shots like of the surfers, then I'm usually selling them to them directly.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's kind of interesting because, I mean, this is kind of like a good lesson in life as well. It's like what performs well on Instagram does not always directly correlate to like what does well in real life. Like I've had photos I posted on Instagram where it was like, I think I got like 20 likes. And then it winds up being like one of my best selling photos, like as far as like a print.
Right. Yeah.
Because like the less involved people are specifically, the more often people are going to buy it. The more ambiguous
That's
things
very
are.
true. I'd much rather have a picture of on my wall, like above my couch, of like a giant wave, as opposed to like some dude I don't even know doing an air reverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that
a
person
good point.
really wants that photo,
Yeah.
and hopefully he's going to buy that photo. But I can't, as sick as that photo is, like one of my best pictures that I love, it's like this guy getting barrel out in front of A Street, this kid Tommy who like rips, and it's such a good shot, but like no one's gonna buy that
right.
photo. Like it's
Yeah.
great, but no one wants like a picture of someone else on their wall. Now, if it was like in the morning time and it was like a silhouette, and you could kind of get like more of like, the more you can see yourself in the picture, the more that's gonna sell. So it's deciding whether I want to do like kind of shooting the wave itself, like you said, like just get like a cool like shot of the wave, or kind of like a more ambiguous, abstract kind of image, and those typically sell better at markets because more people are going to buy those.
It's got to be like 90% of the waves that come through, like have the potential for it to be a good shot for you. Because like you could take a picture of a wave that doesn't have a surfer on it, and then you could take a picture of a wave. Like obviously you're going to have the waves where, you know, you got a dude, he's out there, it's like it's a couple like first time surfing or something, and he's kind of like, you know, just dropping in and doing whatever.
Hands all in the air.
Yeah, not gonna be able to really get a good shot of that. But then you also have your waves that are gonna be crumbling super early and like may not throw the way you want it to. But then like for the most part, bro, I bet some of those waves that are coming through, it's like every wave's kind of got potential.
Yeah, and it just depends. Like if I can get the settings right to capture it, if I'm in the good space. Sometimes I'll get shots that are like, if I had these shots now when I was a few months ago, I'll be like, oh, this is incredible. But now that I've taken like so many, now I'm like, all right, well, what's different about this one than like other ones I've posted before?
Yeah.
You know, it's like sometimes it could be like the same perspective. It could be like the same kind of wave. I'm like, I've kind of already done this one before. So I'm always trying to like figure out like how can I capture this like a little bit differently?
Yeah.
And
I wanted to ask you, like, what do you do different to separate? Because there's a lot of surf photographers out there. Is there anything specifically that you do to separate yourself?
I mean, I don't think I've developed my own styles that deep enough to where I can be like, this is what makes me like different from other people. I've seen surf and by far this is not like the common denominator, but I've seen some surf photographers who can get good shots, but I think I have a slight edge on some people. There's a lot of really good ones, especially out in Jacksonville. There's this guy, Will, who films out in Jacksonville, and he is awesome. I think Adam King is another one.
I know Evan Hilton.
Yeah. What's on?
Do you know Evan Hilton?
I've heard the name.
And then there's another one, tall guy. He does yoga too. Or no, he's a dancer. Dang, what's his name? Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to these guys, man.
I
I know a lot of all the guys you listed too. I've seen all their Instagram.
Yeah, I really admire their
crazy,
work. They do some awesome stuff. So like,
all
just some
y'all are
like
crazy, bro. Getting out there in the water like that, man. That's just like, for me, I would never, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I have so much respect to y'all. That's why I love looking at y'all's like socials so much, man. It's just because
I wouldn't,
bro. Yeah, dude. Do you ever get scared whenever like you fall off your board and your board's like a little bit farther away from you for a second, and you've like been seeing marine life all day or whatever, and you're like just sitting there deep for a second, like that split second, I'm just like, the only thing I'm thinking about is a shark coming up from the bottom of the ocean to eat me.
What scares me is when I get off my board to see how deep it is, and I get as far as I can go. Leash is tight, board is bouncing like this, and I still can't touch the bottom. That's what scares me.
Yeah,
true.
No, it can get sketchy in that sense for sure.
Let's go ahead and knock out a segment that me and Joey love doing. We actually forgot to do it in our intro, so we're going to do it right now.
Let's do it.
The week. Win of the week, episode 81 going down right now. Michael, win of the week. I already explained it to you before we started doing the episode. But basically, this is a segment where me and Joey use this opportunity to shout out a person, place, or thing that was dope about the week. Mm-hmm. So do you want me to start off?
Yeah, I want you to start off.
So my win of the week is Christmas cookies.
Those were good cookies.
Yeah,
we're talking about those.
Yeah,
those
so
are
I'm
good.
talking about all Christmas cookies, but those cookies in particular, the ones that are on the counter. Yeah. Oh, dude, I've been eating them all week. So Joey brought me those on Tuesday.
Shout out to my mama.
Yeah, right before our workout, Joey pulls up. He's got the Christmas cookies, man. He's got like all different kinds. What was the one that I really liked? The
peanut butter, the Reese's peanut butter cookies.
Yeah, but then there
weren't any of those left.
Oh, boy.
Those were gone the first night.
Dude, literally like hour into him bringing the cookies over
those.
here. The Reese's peanut butter, it's the peanut butter cookie with the Reese cup inside. Like, dude, that is my cookie.
Yeah.
That is the best cookie, in my opinion, ever. And for some reason, it's only like a Christmas time thing. I feel like I never see those at any time except for Christmas time. But that is like, that's my go-to. But then the molasses ones, I think, is what you're talking about. What was the other ones?
The molasses ones are good.
Those were so good, man. And so, yeah, definitely Christmas cookies are my win of the week. That's like when Christmas time comes around, bro. Like I'm a Christmas cookie fiend. Like if someone's got the Christmas cookies at the house, man, and they're fresh, bro, I'm diving into it for
I'm
sure.
a glutton, yeah.
Joey,
my turn. Still in the holiday spirit, but more the Florida holiday spirit. It's 74 degrees outside right now.
That is beautiful.
Christmas
right
is
now.
what, in 2 days?
Yeah.
dude, we are blessed.
That is insane.
Sure.
I'm about to go golfing after this just because it feels so good outside. Like,
Maybe put on a Santa hat out there.
I woke up this morning and I had a hoodie on when I was walking my dog, and I started sweating.
It's too much.
And I'm like, dude, I love this, man. But there is like we after the gym some nights we're getting out there kind of late, bro, and it's freezing.
Yeah, there's been a couple cold nights.
You can't
It's
lie.
drastic
There's days
change.
where it gets bad, but there is, also,
It just always seems like every year around Christmas it's warm.
Yeah.
Like every Christmas we have, it's warm. This year it's going to be raining, but still got some good weather.
There was one year where it was like so warm, everyone went to the beach on Christmas.
Yeah,
It was
I
like
remember
so
that.
weird.
It was probably like
80
7 years
degrees or
ago, something like that.
Florida's
Yeah.
a crazy place.
Yeah, no, I love it though, man. Honestly, I mean, what other place are you going to get like super sunny Christmas time? I mean, besides like
California.
the tropical places for sure, but even some parts of Cali, bro, like Northern Cal and stuff like that, like it's probably freezing.
True,
right
yeah, they
now.
get snow.
Doesn't it technically snow in parts of Hawaii?
Does it really?
I think
I'm sure up high.
yeah, I think it's some
dude.
parts up high. Yeah, I think it does.
God, see, that's crazy,
Yeah.
man. See, so we're blessed. For
Yes.
sure. That's a good, brother. That's a good
I might look like an
week.
idiot looking back on this right now. Like fact check, like that's not true at all.
It does not snow ever. It's never snowed in Hawaii.
Like, this guy has no idea what he's talking
Right
about.
next to the volcano is where all the snow is.
I think
going
that's
on.
they're like that's ash.
That is so funny. So, Michael, win of the week.
Oh man, this swell was awesome. But I think like my favorite part about the swell, I got some really good shots, did some prints, but my favorite part was like it was like the peak of it right before it cleaned up. And I've been trying to film backwash for like months now. Like I've gotten a couple backwash shots where like it was just like far off in the distance and you're like, oh, that's kind of like an explosive thing. But I've yet to like center one up where like I waited for it.
I saw that video that you posted on social. Was that the one you're talking
Yeah.
about? Dude, that was crazy.
That was such a
man.
good one, man.
And you see it sometimes like whenever you're walking out like about to go surf or something,
Yeah.
but you never really notice like how that one that you got was so dramatic. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like most of the time it's like a very small kind of thing. You don't really notice how clean of a picture it looks like because it's so quick. But the one you got, bro, was crazy.
We don't really get a lot of backwash here, do we?
No, because we don't have like really like structure to like bounce it back. But
Yeah.
at the pier, like it was coming up so much that like the dunes kind of like eroded away like on the lower part. So the water was like rushing up, and it was like 8 to 10. So the water comes rushing up high tide, and then it kind of like starts launching back, and I see it happening. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be the day. Because, like, I've always, like, kind of gotten it, like, out of focus or never, like, the main focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, all right. So I'm laying in the sand with my water housing because I'm like, I'm not swimming today. Like, I'm not that crazy. Like,
Yeah.
some people would do that. I kind of regret it now this morning. I was like, man, I kind of wish I swam out that day. But I have my water housing. I'm laying in the sand, and I'm just, like, waiting for the shot to compose because I, like, see it happening. And I'm laying there for, like, 10 minutes, basically. And finally, like, I see it come through. And I was so stoked to get that shot. You can probably hear it in the video where I'm like, yes, yes. And then funny enough, as soon as I got that, well, not funny, but I came really close to getting really badly hurt.
Okay.
I was like right in front of this like no trespassing sign, not like past it, but like by these rocks. And I'm like looking around because especially when there's a lot of foam, like you don't know what's eroded and where like a hole is. To like twist your ankle or something like that.
Or a stump.
Yeah, something like that. And I thought I had done like a pretty decent job. I was like looking around, like didn't see anything. And I took one step back and there was one hole that was probably like less than like a foot in diameter.
Oh, God.
And like I just felt my like right leg just go straight down like 4 feet.
No way.
And like my camera like drops, like I scrape like the shit out of my shin. And I was just like, for a second, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I just snapped my leg on this, and, like, I came up, and I was like, man.
Everything still works.
Everything still works. I was like, check the camera. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Hey, shout out to the swell, though, man. It has been really fun recently.
Yeah.
That's a good win of the week, too, bro, because, I mean, like, this winter has been particularly better than some of the other ones, if we're being honest.
Yeah. I've
I don't
gone
know,
into work
just-
pretty happy.
Yeah, it's been pumping lately, man. So shout out to the ocean, bro. Shout out to just, like, all the happiness that shit brings us,
Yeah.
for sure, dude.
I've been riding that high all week. I've actually had to, like, kind of been looking forward to going to work certain days because I've just, like, been editing so much that I'm glued to the computer for, like,
Yeah.
6 hours a day. I'm like, all right.
Let's get out in the world.
Let's go talk to some people. Serve up some shrimp, I guess.
And,
Something like
before
that.
we get out of here, you also do the client photography and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this too, man. So, what have been some of the struggles of getting into that? Because obviously, surf photography, shooting people, like I can imagine it's a totally different craft, bro.
Yeah, so I haven't had as much success on like the land stuff. So I've, a lot of photography comes to just like putting in like the time and the hours. And I'm not saying this as someone who's like, this is my, advice, like that's figured it all out.
No,
but
for
like
sure.
kind of like my own personal experience is like I've shot a lot of things for free. Like my girlfriend's always on me like, you did another free project? I'm like, well, I don't have this particular like
You're building your portfolio.
yeah. She's like, you have a portfolio. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have one of underwater basket weaving. You know what I mean? Like it's always something like that. So like, I've been fortunate that like I kind of like forced myself in these situations. Like sometimes like coffee shop wise, like I've just bought in their like coffee and like done things like at my house.
Yeah.
Did photos like that. Done, free portraits, things like that. And every once in a while, it like stems into like other things. Some of the guys I've done surfing with have recommended me got to do a wedding that way.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. I love doing the wedding.
What is your favorite part of, shooting people on land?
Honestly, it's the same as like in water. It's like capturing like the pure moment of things like that. Like I would say like my on land style and water is kind of more like fly on the wall, like documentary kind of style.
Yeah.
Where like I don't, I kind of want you to I don't want it to be like forced and like composed and like manufactured.
It's not a photo shoot.
Yeah. Like for the wedding, like there's the portrait session, like where we had to do that, but kind of just like being out in the corner and having like a little bit of a longer lens and just capturing like those pure moments where people are like, I didn't even know you were there for that. Like, that's awesome that you got that.
Love that.
So that was kind of like my favorite moment of it all.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So, can people hit you up for that if they're trying
absolutely.
to get some shots and everything like that, man?
It's Work for Avocados. That's is my surf photography one, which has a link to my other one. But Coastal Mirage is my land-based shot. Yeah,
I like that, bro.
Yeah,
that's a clean name. I like that a lot, man.
Thank you.
And definitely hit the man up for the water photography.
I'm here
bro.
for all your needs,
dude. Because you've been crushing it, man. It's good to see everything that you've been doing. One last segment before we get out of here.
I thought you were gonna forget it.
That man, Joey's top 3.
Let's go. You ready? Yeah, give us some.
I didn't know if you were gonna jump into it right away, but I was like, let's go ahead and just give it.
Nah, we're gonna do it. All right. So top 3. Every week we do top 3. It's random. I think about it before the episode. But since you are a photographer, I want to know your top 3 things to photograph.
Lately, number 1 is barrel shots with a really interesting background.
Like what?
So right now, I have one in mind that's been on my mind for like weeks that I've been wanting to get out and shoot. I almost went this morning down like there's a place called Washington Oaks, and it's a bit further south, like it's by Marineland. But it has this like really long stretch of like coquina rocks that goes for like about a half a mile to a mile. It's almost like a reef, but it's not.
That's cool.
But I would love to capture something like hollow like that, like being in the wave and having like the lip clearly like in front of me on like a really wide angle lens, and having that rock, like the rocks like in the foreground.
Yeah,
kind of. I think that would be really cool.
That would be sweet, bro, for sure.
Stuff like that. I mean, that's the hard part in Florida is like finding
the barrel.
That too. You can make it look like there's a bigger barrel with a wide angle, but having like unique like backgrounds, because like on the West Coast and things like that, you have like coves and things like that. We're like, oh, foreground. Like last night, I was just like drooling over like British Columbia because I was looking at like shots of Vancouver, and it's just like beautiful like forests and mountains in the background and like these surf shots. I'm like, man, we don't have any of that.
Yeah.
So things like that, where I'd be able to find something like unique to pick out and still like capture like the essence of the wave. That'd be number 1. Number 2 definitely doesn't do much for anyone else, but if I get a good fish on the line, that would be like a cool thing to take a shot of.
Yeah, Joey loves
like
fishing.
Yeah. Get some good redfish on the line or something like that.
I catch snook.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I haven't had much luck with that lately.
I'll show you.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Perfect. It's
that boy Joey thinks
right after golfing.
that boy thinks he's a pro fisherman, bro. He's really.
I used to be sponsored. Don't play with me. I'm fishing tournaments.
So you got next interview guest right there. Turn the tables.
Exactly, bro. The celeb's here already.
Number 3, I want to start getting into this more. I used to do a lot with the GoPro because it was easier with it, but doing like nighttime shots.
That's dope.
So like you can do like the star lapse mode and things like that. Doing that with like a lit foreground, like something like close up where you could have like a tent that's like lit up with like a light.
Yeah.
And then you have like the stars coming out on that.
I love that.
I would love, this is like suicide. This is in Florida. But I would love to get like an external waterproof flash or like strobe and do some like slow shutter nighttime wave photography.
Dude, that would be crazy.
It would be incredible. There's a lot that comes with that.
Oh, so much.
Do it on a full moon too. You might as well. Good lighting,
dude. We tried one night and it didn't. I didn't have a external flash. I just had like a GoPro light, and we tried to go out in a full moon, and like it didn't do much. But even as like that light was shining in the water, I'm like,
Okay, I thought you were a little crazy before going out during the day doing this shit, bro. Going out at night is just a different ballgame.
Have you guys seen that one guy out of the Everglades?
Oh yeah,
The swamp puppies.
Dude, trust
the
me.
guy that
Yeah.
pets the alligators.
The guy who's like out there with the water housing, and he just finds some random swamp, and he goes, that guy.
Dude, that is the craziest dude alive. And then he'll go in there and like he's always like making little jokes and stuff when he's picking up. He's like, "This is a poisonous frog right here," and he'll dive on top of a snake. And like, bro,
That's the same guy who goes in with the housing and the wetsuit, right? Or is it?
I think so.
Okay, because I think there's a couple
breed,
of them.
bro. Different breed.
I'm like, at least I can pretend that there's like not a shark nearby. I'm like, there is definitely an alligator,
bro,
like
for
in there,
sure.
and they are not as friendly, and the sharks are not friendly.
Oh no, dude! It's shout out to all you guys for getting out there and doing that shit, man. Because you end up getting the coolest shots at the end of the day, but. That's not for me, bro. That's just not for me.
I'm staying on the board.
I'm staying on the board or on the land. One of the two. I ain't going out there just free swimming.
I no, it's the end product that I love being able to see, and like when I did a market, the last market we did was like such a cool moment to me because like I sold a good bit, but like one of my favorite moments was just people coming up and be like, I've never seen like St. Augustine like from this angle before. So just trying to like capture
really
like show people like a different side of like what they normally see. Like from the shore, you always see like the water and things like that, but you rarely see the things that are on the shore from the water.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a really cool moment, and being able to like share like raw emotions with people. Or like when we were saying like shooting early in the morning, you have like that silhouette, kind of just like, oh man, that's me. You know what I mean? It's not, but it is.
For sure.
Or like I was shooting the Tommy Tant and Flagler, and I got this shot that I really enjoyed of it's just these three guys sitting like on a truck, like looking out at the ocean.
Oh, that's dope.
And it's like you don't even see any waves, but you just see them, and it's just like kind of like arms crossed, like it's from like the backside of them. Like it's like
tailgate down.
Yeah, and they're just like sitting there and they're like watching the ocean, and it's just like
it kind of tells a story.
Yeah. It's like I don't know those guys, but I know those guys. Like those are like me and my friends. You know what I mean? And
I
like,
love that, bro.
My goal is to like capture moments like that, and I only post things that I would want to see like on my wall. Like I've become obsessed with like printing out like photos lately. Like I have like big stacks of like photos at home that
that's awesome.
I'll probably sell a lot. Try to sell a lot of them at markets, but a lot of them I'm like, oh no, this is like going on my wall. Like that backwash shot, dude, I can't wait.
Oh, dude.
I asked my sister for a gift card for like the printing company I use because I was like, I'm totally getting a giant size one of those for my wall.
No, that thing is crazy, man. And all y'all definitely check out the man on Instagram. If they can hit you up about a print or a post you have on Instagram or anything like that, you can just get it printed for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything like on my Instagram page, I can do prints of. I do up to 18 by 24 is the biggest size I've done so far.
Yeah, dude, keep pushing it, bro. Because I mean,
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's fun watching you from the sidelines and seeing everything you're doing. And I think me and Joey might be next for a private surf session. That would be so dope. I mean, we gotta wait for the water to heat up a little bit more, but once we get some good waves, man, that'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
Real quick story on that actually is I had someone hit me up about doing like a photo session, and they were like, they have a house in town in St. Augustine, but they like live in New Jersey, and they were like, oh, like I want to do a session, like I'm gonna book you for 2 hours. That's the hardest part about doing this for like private sessions is because the waves don't always, or never actually, not always, they never are what, the surf line says it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's never quite as good. And he like, all right, we're going to do a sunrise session. I was like, all right, I'm down. So
waves suck.
I'm like, we get down there. He's like, no offense, man, but I really don't want to spend the money to get these shots right now. I was like, it doesn't really look that great.
You got to have a deposit. You got to do a deposit.
It's hard to do.
I know. It's trust me, bro. I feel you because there's been plenty of times where, me and Joey wake up on the day of an interview or whatever, or the day of an episode, and it's like 5 minutes before we're about to expect the guest to be here, and he hits us up and he's like, "Hey, man, it's just not going to work out today or whatever." Like,
you're like, I put my whole day on.
That's all I'm saying.
Whole
like,
day.
dude,
yeah.
And there's been times where even some of me and Joey's closest friends who were supposed to be on the show for a special episode or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes those are the people who do it the most.
Yeah, bro. And Joey's over here like he's canceling golf. He's canceling. I mean, we
I don't like missing golf.
I've gathered that. Yeah.
I'll tell you, me and Joey, we both like. Same as you. We all have schedules. We all have other jobs that we're doing. We're all trying to, pave a way and things like that. And so, we all are on a time crunch.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of, you should at least get something on your back end. So, I mean, we can talk after the episode and whatever. I think it'd be really cool for you to establish something where, there'd be like at least like a incentive, like for you, you know.
Well, that's sort of, it actually wound up working out really well because we were like standing on the beach and we're both in wetsuits. My wetsuit is cold and wet still from the day before, and I'm like, he's like, I don't know, man. I was like, dude, it's 6:45 a.m. I'm in a cold wetsuit. I was like, I'm going out. Like, it's sunrise. And we actually wound up having a really good session. Like, the waves improved a lot, but even kind of like making the most of that and forcing different angles and things like that. Because I was like, all right, look, man, like I'll shoot and I'll only charge you for the ones that you like.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Because like you got to be adaptive with it. Like I never want to feel like someone's getting taken advantage of booking. Or even I'm a little bit more lenient than I should be in some instances, like other sessions where or like they didn't get that many waves. I'm like, all right, dude, just pay me for like the Red Bull or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one came out really good, and we because of the lighting, it kind of like forced me to like be really creative with it, and I got some like really interesting angles, and the waves actually wound up picking up a bit, and he was really happy with it, and he wound up buying the full session.
Dude, see, that's dope. That's a happy ending for sure.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you just got to like go with it, even though it doesn't look ideal. You're like, well, I'm already here. You already got your cold wetsuit on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go for it. So. You never know how moments like that are actually going to pan out for the best.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Shout out to you, dude. I appreciate you coming back on the show.
Dude, I'm happy to be here.
Legendary
Looking forward to next time.
Dude, yeah, and when you first came on, the first whatever episode that was, I want to say it was like 20 or 30 something. That episode ended up doing so well. I was like, when can we get this man back in here? And it's just one of those things where it's like perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
And it's so cool to just watch everything you're doing from the sidelines, like I said, and just watching the shit you're doing on social media. It seems like you're really like enjoying this on another level. Like, keep pushing, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
I'll tell you, me and Joey are definitely fans, and happy to have you on the show, bro.
Appreciate that, guys.
So go ahead and plug those socials again. So I know your Instagram is obviously Work for Avocados.
So it's Work for Avocados. It's WORKFORAVOCADOS. And then my land-based one is Coastal Mirage. But the Coastal Mirage one's linked to that Work for Avocados, which is usually the one people remember.
And then YouTube, Work for Avocados.
YouTube, Work for Avocados. Yeah,
we didn't speak on it too much, but this man's got videos for days, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so many good videos on there, man. I go down the rabbit hole quite often, man. When I'm just like chilling, I need something to watch on TV,
Good
so
memories.
shout out to you. Yeah,
good memories.
Yeah, you got some good videos on there, man. You definitely put some time into those videos. So, shout out to you, bro. Keep doing that. All my OGs, you guys know, patreon.com/OG Sessions. If you guys are not a member on there, become a member, support the pod. It's the number one way to show your support for the pod. It's the number one way to get all that bonus access for the pod. Social handles, Instagram, OG Sessions Pod, Twitter, X, OG Sessions Pod, and then TikTok is just OG Sessions. Anything else from the man Joey Allen?
That's all I got.
Yeah, dude, this was a great conversation.
We talked all about surfing. It was great.
It was great. That's a good day.
Yeah, and you did some more talking than you did in the last episode on this.
Yeah,
one,
I got warmed up a little bit.
Exactly. So yeah, shout out to everyone's watching this episode, man. Shout out to you, and
man.
we will be back next time.
Yeah, man.